All right. Hello again, everybody. How are you tonight? Hopefully everybody's doing well. I am Ken Schmidt with my sister,
Eileen Monks.
Here we
Hi, how
are.
are you guys?
All
Yeah,
right.
so another lovely evening on the West Coast. I can't get over how beautiful this weather is. It's just gorgeous. What's it like over there, Ken?
Yeah, it's crazy awesome today. It's been such a nice day out. I've had a chance, thankfully, my job and what I do all day long is out zipping around. So I'm able to enjoy this time out and check things out and enjoy the sun while we got it, because soon here it's going to be nothing but rain.
It is, yeah, it's going to be awful out. And, quite frankly, it has been really stormy for the last couple of weeks, like on and off the last couple of days, last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking to myself, okay, go out and mow the lawn when you can, but it's still too wet. So thankfully, I was able to, I'm not going to say I did it, but somebody mowed my lawn for me. And they said, you know what, you're just too busy. I'll go do it. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah, no kidding.
So it's a really nice thing when you have friends that are willing to do these things for you as you're running around like a stupid person. But
Yeah, well, so that's kind of nice to have something like that happen.
it absolutely is, and I'm very fortunate that way, that I do have so many good friends that are really willing to step in and help me out that way. And I mean, in the same breath, though, I do things for them, so it's all good.
Hey, I noticed one thing tonight that's different from last week.
What's that?
Your new hair color.
Oh, okay. So this is actually supposed to be purple.
What happened?
But well, a funny thing about bright colors, my hairdresser reminds me at every turn that, Eileen, the bright colors do not stay. And so every time that I step into the shower, more of the original purple comes out. Sure. And yeah, so it's this really weird thing. And my students say to me every day, what color's your hair today? It's like a mood ring. Have you ever seen those mood rings? It's like a mood ring.
So you're feeling blue today?
I'm feeling blue. It's like cotton candy blue.
Yeah, it looks totally like cotton candy blue.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And yeah, it's fun. It's funky. I don't mind it. Yeah.
Totally. Hey, one thing, guys, while you're watching, don't forget to hit that share button and like, and let all your friends know about this too.
Absolutely. So tonight we have a little something different. We're gonna try this, and I'm not sure how well this is gonna work, but we happen to have our guest, our very special guest. His name is Dr. John Rigby Patterson, and he's with us tonight. But we have opted at this point in time, and I don't think it's going to change, but we have opted at this point in time that he's going to be doing this via telephone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure exactly how this is going to work out, but we're going to give it a shot because, it's live TV and these things happen, right?
Roll with it. Technology these days.
Absolutely. So Dr. Rigby Patterson, welcome to the show, and I hope this is going to work for us. But can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, I hear perfectly. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, Ken says he can hear you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. So, Dr. Patterson, tell us a little bit about yourself and give us that bio that that everybody's itching to hear about.
Okay, sounds good. I was born and raised in Arizona, in a little community in the north part of the state, northeast part of the state. Went to BYU for a while, ended up at University of Arizona, where I graduated, and then went to medical school. After that, I graduated in 1980 and went to Iowa to do my residency in family practice. I spent 4 years there and then came back to Phoenix, and I've been here since. The first 7, 8 years I was doing emergency medicine, and then I went into primary care family practice and did that for, about 35 years all told. I retired in 2014.
Wow, so not that long ago.
That's basically my bio.
That's basically your bio. And that's, I mean, you have definitely had an active physician doctor basically career. And now you're not doing that anymore. So
no, I gave it up to do multi-level marketing.
Multi-level marketing. I mean, here we can play that total devil's advocate, but what? You would give up being a doctor to do sales and multi-level marketing?
Well, I found something that was extremely good, and by accident, really. And you know, the company works in biohacking. It works, you know, the supplements are unique, and I used them in my practice for a year and a half, and found them to be so good. I thought, you know, it's a lot more fun. You know, medicine is tough because it's all, you know, side effects and it's cost, and it's difficult to get in to see the doctor. It was just, you know, it's kind of nightmarish when you think of all the logistics to it. Where this, I have no overhead. I don't talk to lawyers or accountants. I don't have drug records coming in. I don't have to warn anybody about a side effect. And my outcomes are probably better than I've ever seen.
Cool.
So, no, it was just not a question. I want to do something that's not going to kill me as I do it. So it has been a good move for me.
So
something to be said about that.
I'm sorry?
There's definitely something to be said about that when you're a physician coming in like that and switching gears, like such a drastic change in the scope of what society sees.
Mm-hmm. That never has bothered me. My whole career was about helping and being, you know, kind of someone that could guide people through this medical field. And when this opportunity, when this came into my life, I realized this stuff is really good. And I could care less what someone thinks of me. I want them to try it. And, you know, it's still, you know, you run into a lot of stubborn people. You run into a lot of very skeptical people. And, you know, I was skeptical myself. It took me a year to even pay attention to it. But it's just one of those things that I think it's very important when you get into multi-level marketing that you really like the product you're trying to sell or trying to represent. If you don't see benefit like this, yeah, I would think it'd be nearly impossible for me to do it. But because this opportunity, these products are phenomenal, it's very easy for me to transition to this and just speak from my heart on it. I really like what I do.
That's fantastic.
You know, pardon, Ken?
Yeah, no, I said that's fantastic. It's so cool.
It really is. And you know what? And I cannot speak enough to that. Like, if you don't believe in something, you're not going to do a good job on it, right? I mean, be whatever it is you're doing as a teacher, I believe in what I'm doing. And I mean, if you're not believing in what you're doing, you don't do an effective job. So it's so cool that you would find something in the physician sort of realm, the health realm, that you actually thought was more important than being a family physician.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I don't know that it's necessarily more important. It's more successful.
Okay.
And that I hope that gives people an idea that if it's more successful, it's better than. It's just, I've never seen outcomes like this. I've never seen patients responding with their health like I've seen with these products. And it just, it's heartwarming because every doctor out there hates losing these fights with nasty diseases. And we're all going to die. I can't stop that completely, but I can slow it down tremendously. And to see someone's health who's on the brink, come back to a full life, that they get to enjoy their families, their spouses, their kids and grandkids, it's really rewarding. And it's exactly what I wanted to do in medicine, but found very frustrating. So this was just kind of an evolution into something that I'm doing in this part of my life, and I love it.
Are there any stories that you can share about some of the patients, not naming names, of course, but some stories that you can share of, the results that you got?
I think you're going to have to translate that because I'm not hearing his at all well.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Ken asked if there was any stories that you could share without naming names or anything like that, that basically those success stories, like specific things.
Okay, well, probably the most impressive one was a young man. He was in his mid-40s. He developed a viral cardiomyopathy, meaning his heart was attacked by a virus. It turned into the size of a basketball, and the function went down. Normal function there is 60 to 80% ejection fraction. His went down to 17. You have to have at least 20% to pump blood through your kidneys and liver. So, he damaged those organs where he was on transplant list. He was at the Mayo Clinic. They got his heart function back up to 30%, and that's where I came in contact with him. Now, his heart was doing very poorly. He was on 30-odd medicines a day just for his heart, or 30-odd pills, I should say. And so when I brought up this supplement, he was really reluctant because his health is so precarious. This guy can't wash his own hair because he can't pump blood up. He can't talk. He runs out of breath even talking. Can't lie down to sleep at night. He has to sleep upright in a lounger. His life is really restricted. Can't maintain his temperature in hot weather or cold. So he's really housebound, and he's in his 40s. Well, finally, his wife, who was a pharmacist, looked at the products and came back to him and said, "Tom, these may well help you. You should try them." And he was still reluctant. And she says, "Tom, they're all natural. They're things that are in your diet all the time anyway. This will not hurt." And on that, he decided to take it. Now, after a month or so, he started feeling like he could breathe better. He could actually lie down to sleep at night. And at 3 months, his cardiologist repeated his cardiac output, and it went from 30% to 51%. Now, this has been a couple of years. It's now up to 63%. Now, the thing that's so unique about that, this patient is the only patient in recorded medical history to have done that with his diagnosis. He's a case history at Johns Hopkins. So, it's very unique. And he's my patient, and we didn't change anything in his regimen. His cardiologists have recognized that something different is going on. At first, they told him to stop any supplement. Now they tell him not to. They actually give him instructions, do not stop that.
Wow.
And he's back to a normal life. So to see Tom's life back, I shouldn't say his name, but to see his life back and his kids and being a father again and active, it's really remarkable. And that's just one of many, many cases of people doing turnarounds. Cancers, end-stage cancer. I had one with pancreatic cancer, and that's a 3-month survival on average after diagnosis, and he lived for 2 extra years. And the only reason he died is he stopped taking the medication because he felt too good.
Because he felt too good, he thought, yeah.
But you see those kinds of results. I've never seen those as a doctor, and yet as I won't call myself a drug rep, but a supplemental rep, I'm getting results like that. And so, it's really heartwarming. And like I say, the company itself is stellar. The friendships and the people that are in the company I've never met better people. So it's fun to work with. It's just that the compensation plan is good. It's just got all those components to it that make this a real nice business on top of, the medicine I do or the healthcare. The rest of the picture looks just as good. So I'm real pleased to have bumped into this. This is my first time with an MLM.
Well, I'm just kind of curious. How did you bump into this? Like, what? I don't know that I actually caught that at the beginning. How did you find this?
My sister is a health nut. And, it's funny, I come from a large Mormon family. And my sister being kind of this health nut, when someone has a question, they go to my sister for an answer, which really galls me. Here I am, an MD, and they both ask me. And so we have this bit of tension between us. Anyway, she came across it herself, and she just wanted me to take it as a supplement. And when I looked it over, a very cursory look, I told her she was working with snake oil. And for a year, she kept sending me articles and, this, that, and the other, and it didn't register. And then one of my partners had a patient that chronic pain. He had a morphine pump instilled under his skin, and they filled the reservoir each morning with morphine, and it dolled it out all day long to control that pain. Well, he had come into the office and had cut his own morphine use in half without the doctor's supervision, just because he didn't need that much anymore, which was just really remarkable. And he was invited in for a lunchtime meeting, and they brought a couple of the reps from the company. And as I was trying to sneak through and just grab a Coke, but I noticed the product on a table, and I recognized them from what my sister had. And so I talked to the rep a bit, and my partner and I got to stop, maybe this will help some of our pain patients. And that's how and we decided to do it for the pain patients. I wasn't going to take it myself. I didn't really see a need for myself. Later on, I changed that. But I started out with pain control, and then I went into Alzheimer's, end-stage cardiac, pulmonary, renal dialysis. Your renal failure. A lot of these very frustrating end-stage diseases. There's no handbook on how you should use it. It's more or less just let's see what it does for you. And, it was remarkable. Enough to the point that my first line of anything was talking to my patients about starting this before medicinal. Medicinals are expensive and they have side effects. And, I don't know about you, but I hate side effects.
Yeah, side effects are really awful, quite frankly. And being an all natural product or the different products are all natural ingredients. There is no side effects. No negative side effects anyways. All the side effects are positive side effects.
That's right.
Yeah, the good side effects, the kind of things you want to see.
Exactly.
And it's very unique. And that's, again, I don't want to try and represent a Me Too product. And that's what most of those things out there that I see from patients are coming into the office and telling me about what they're doing and trying to enlist me in helping them. And I just say, this is just not that special, what they're doing. This, on the other hand, is unique. And so it's been a good experience that way. And I've got, a team of people underneath me that is vibrant and working, and, you get to help teach people how to be better at what they're doing, and build their confidence up, help them become independent and their own business people. And it's just a lot of fun to watch that growth. But I never thought I'd really, participate in my life. But yet it's a big part of what I do.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I'm really quite excited by what you've told us tonight. I know the company always says that they don't cure, prevent, or mitigate disease. And they have to say that because, it doesn't necessarily work the same for everyone. And so when people, so people say to me, oh, well, what's this going to do for me? Well, quite frankly, I don't know what it's going to do for you because I don't know, what you've been through and whatnot. And I'm not a doctor anyways, but, I don't think anybody can actively say, well, for sure this is going to do this or for sure this is going to do that, because nobody knows what each person has gone through and what's going on inside of them. So,
right. And I think it's very important to have those parameters when I talk with patients, that I'm not, this product and the company absolutely do not claim these things. I can tell them if I've had experience with their disease, I can tell them what I saw in patients I've taken care of. And then we can look it up. We can go into PubMed.gov, which is the National Archive of Medicine. We can look at their disease and look what's causing their disease. And if it's related to aging or oxidative stress, you can judge it simply by the number of studies that are done on it. And lupus has 1,400 studies showing how closely linked it is to aging. And if my product does something to mitigate aging, then it should have an effect. But we'll see what that is. I said, the magic in this is starting it and over a period of 3 or 4 months, seeing what your health does. And some people respond quickly. Other people, I've had some patients took up to a year to get what we wanted out of it. They were getting better along the way, but they finally kind of stabilized at a new spot in a year. That was a very serious patient. He had coronary artery disease and was at the end of his rope. They told him they couldn't do anything more for him. Had him on massive doses of nitroglycerin. And it took a long time to get his, it's 6 months. I talked to him into 6 months on the product. And at 6 months, he came back into the office very angry. He wasn't feeling better. But in talking things over with him, he had done a stress test that was, quote, good. He didn't have to change or add more medicine. And then he had not been in the hospital for heart failure in the 6 months he had been on my product. And the year before, he was there 3 times for heart failure. This guy was at the end of his life. And then his cardiologist mentioned that he was seen to be developing bypasses, new ones, around his artificial ones, which was really remarkable because I can't do that. No one can do that as a doctor unless you surgically reimplant. There's a limit to how often you can do that. So I begged him to just please stay on this product. 3 months after we had that meeting, his wife came in to tell us it reduced his nitroglycerin by 50%. And when I retired 3 months later, he was off nitroglycerin and doing fine. I mean, that is just, it's like, I used to teach, I know how Jesus felt, just touching someone to get better. Now, this was a little slower than Jesus. But if you can help somebody, awesome. Things miraculous. Well, if you look at the science, it's well explained in the science.
It absolutely.
There's nothing better than being able to really impact a life like that. So I think the kind of thing that makes you keep going.
Absolutely. Well, and you know what? It's funny that you tell us that particular story because, I've heard of different people that have taken the products and have come back basically doing the same thing as your patient and saying, I don't feel any different. And so, they've been on the product for a short duration, 3 months, 4 months, whatever. They stop taking it and they suddenly realize that they actually were feeling better. Suddenly these aches and pains are coming back or something's kind of going on and they're going, well, that in and of itself makes me think I better go back onto it. And,
yes, that's a very common scenario where someone takes it because, doc, it hasn't helped me. And so you agree to take it, and then they call back a week later and say, my arthritis is so bad I can't write. I'm going back on that stuff. Yeah. They forget what it feels like being normal. Their arthritis is gone, and it just seems so natural to them they don't notice. So it is fun to it's not a trick, but it's good policy. Try going off it, see what it does.
Yeah, exactly.
I enjoyed it.
Well, I was going to say, I guess if you're going to make that suggestion, though, somebody needs to be on it for a long enough duration that they actually recognize that they're not on it anymore. Like, so if you're only on it for a month or two, even though it's going to reduce your oxidative stress by the 40% in that first 30 days, and it's going to improve your I can't even say it. Yeah, glutathione. Thank you. And, it's going to do these things. I know, mental, it's permeated the brain. Anyways, even though, it's doing these things, unless you've actually been on it for a little while and recognize that the pains that are going away or the energy level that has increased, you might not realize by going off of it that quickly.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And, it's like the patient with the pancreatic cancer. He felt so good, he thought, well, I can stop it. And then, he stops it and it just comes roaring back. It's not cured. Your body's just handling like it would any kind of a chronic thing. And so, it's marked, the difference between taking it and not taking it in many people. It's seldom that I have someone stop because they just don't feel anything at all. If they've taken it for that 3 to 6 months, it's good enough that when you look at parameters, blood pressure, cholesterol, arthritis, sleeping, mood, depression, whatever the parameters you set up and can monitor, especially with a blood test or things like that, it's really nice for them to get that confirmation. Hey, I'm doing better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm just kind of curious, what's the minimum parameter time frame that you make like for anybody? What's the suggestion you tell them?
It's 4 months. It's 4 months. Now, I've had a number of patients that can tell it within a week. You know, I had my physician's assistant, real nice young man. I've done that XP90 on TV, you know, that real intensive workout thing.
Yep.
Developed a beautiful body, a physique from it. But he blew out both of his knees. And so for 2 years in the office, we injected his knees with stim baths and steroids and everything I could do as a doctor. He ended up, after 2 years, going to an orthopedic surgeon and did surgery on his left knee trying to stimulate the cartilage, and it failed. Well, this is just at the point where I was beginning to use this product. And he was thinking that he was going to need narcotic pain control to get through a day's work, which you can't do as a physician's assistant. That ruins your career.
Yeah.
So I gave him a bottle of it, a month's worth, and said, just try it. I don't know what it'll do. Try it. And I went away for a conference for 5 days. When I got back, in passing, I just said, JD, how you doing? And he says, you know, funny thing is I can jog again. This is 5 days into it. And you can imagine the chagrin of doing 2 years worth of everything I could as a doctor, including surgeons, and 5 days on a supplement, and he's jogging again.
That's massive.
Without pain. He had no pain. So, you know, that was a real eye-opener to see that happen that quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
again, he's very young and all that stuff, but I like to say 4 months is a good trial.
Okay, fair enough. So it sounds like you are not at all upset with leaving your practice and doing this business.
No, not at all. Not at all. I miss my patients. I really miss that contact. I don't miss all the politics and all the other minutia that goes with that. But that interaction with other people, you know, now when I'm on my own, I don't have 25 people walking past me a day that I can talk to. And I miss that. You know, I really would like to have, you know, that ability to speak to that many people in a day, because things move faster. Now I have to go out of my way without seeming to be too weird. But I miss that aspect of my practice.
So just, you know, what kind of advice, like myself, I'm just starting out, Ken's just starting out. What kind of advice would you give us or somebody who's not even thinking about this business? What kind of advice would you give them in pursuing this or maybe some other direct marketing thing? I mean, obviously we're talking about this company specifically, but I also... Pardon?
No, I say there's a real nice way of doing that, and it's just listening to people when you talk to them. I was at the gym the other day, and there was a man he was in the sauna area, and we were just kind of talking. I introduced myself as just Rigby. I don't use the MD, but we start talking, and he's got to get home. He's got to get back to work, and so that just brings up work. And he works with his father-in-law in a restaurant here in town. It's successful. He says, I'm never going to be able to retire. I don't know what I'm going to do. I need to have a job that's going to give me enough money that I can save for retirement. Mm-hmm. And so I let him say that and talk. And then he started talking about his health. He had throat cancer 7 years ago. And this guy is 51. And he survived that, the surgery, the chemotherapy, radiation. But he's, in the back of his mind, he's worried, will that ever come back? And so I said, listen, I have something I think would answer these two questions for you if you want to hear about it. I think I've got the answer you're looking for. Would you be willing to meet me for coffee? And he said, yes. So I listen to what people say, and generally most people will tell you their worst things within about 5 minutes, whether it's their financial situation or their health, what they do for recreation or the lack of it, and what their occupation is. And they'll tell you what they don't like about those things. It's not really like you have to manipulate or guide a conversation. You just keep listening and asking, open-ended questions. And then I've got a solution for that, or a possible solution. I don't know if you'll like it or not, but it's something that you may want to hear about. And generally that gets a positive response.
That's great advice.
That's it. Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I want to be respectful of your time. And I know it's now 7 o'clock, and we had said, we'd let you talk for 15 or 20 minutes and not put you on the spot too much. And you've been a wonderful guest. You have, you've told us a lot of things. And so I don't want to keep you longer. I mean, if you want to keep talking, you certainly can. I'm not going to stop you from talking, but I do, like I said, want to be respectful of your time. So is there?
That's all right. I'm in for the night. But, like you say, I get so excited about what I do that I had no idea it was 7 o'clock.
I know.
It's going like this for hours. Yeah. I love what I do, and it makes it much easier, to share that with someone that's willing to or wants to learn or to listen or evaluate an opportunity like this. It's just, like I say, my problem is trying to get me to shut up.
Well, and it's funny because you had talked about the company and the people inside of it. And I cannot say enough good things about the people that I have met from starting this business. And I've only been in it a couple of months now. I think 4 months, maybe 5. And the people that I have met, such as yourself, who are phenomenal, they are so willing to help. They're willing to do interviews like this. They're willing to challenge themselves. I mean, how many guests have we had on here that are going, okay, Eileen, I don't do the technology thing. You're going to have to walk me through every step, that whole bit. But I'm willing to do this with you because it's something that I want to help you with. And like I said, I cannot say enough about people in this particular company. They're phenomenal. And
it is. And the thing that's nice is with the MD after my name, I do a lot of cross-line presentation. So I know the people in Phoenix really well, top to bottom. I've done meetings they're not part of my line. I don't benefit per se from these meetings, but it's just so much fun to help them to see, and I've used it as a marketing ploy. I have a real good friend who was, she's got 40 miles away in Black Canyon City, and she had 3 young men that were on the fence after we'd done a presentation, and I turned to the kids and said, listen, you guys, I will come and do your first meeting as Dr. Patterson if you join today. And one of them took me up on it. And so it was great fun to help this. And the kid's young. He's 21, 22, and he's got his first meeting, and he's got someone that he can say, hey, this is a doctor. So it really kickstarts his business. But that's and that's what, I find people are more than willing to help me in that same respect. So it's just been a lot of fun, It's good.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you like I say, you love these people they're all in the same boat. We're all working for the same end. We're all doing this because we want to. It's not a job that we're, doing minimal for. And most people are pretty upbeat about it and nice. So it's good. It's one of the best things I've done for just that kind of association. Because you come out of that.
Absolutely. And helping people. Absolutely. Yeah. Exactly. Any last words that you have, Ken or Dr. Rigby?
Well, Dr. Rigby, I'd love to have you on again another night if you have some time, if you're willing.
What do you think, Dr. Rigby? Would you be willing to do another one with us at some point?
Oh, yeah. No problem. Maybe we could do it while I'm actually on the TV.
I would really, really like that. That would be so nice for everybody to actually see you and so that you could actually see us as well. I know as you were talking, I was getting goosebumps. I kept lifting up my arm and Ken kind of has this little smirk on his face because he knows exactly. I mean, he is my brother, so he knows those ins and outs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got goosebumps again. So we would really love to have you on again.
For sure.
Oh, sure. Let's just, whenever you have that meet or that time, we can set up another moment. This is something, it's the teaching part that I've really come to appreciate and like.
Well,
and so no problem.
Okay.
No problem.
Well, I really, really want to thank you for doing this with us. Like I said, it's sharing your story, sharing the story of some of your patients and some of those great successes that you've encountered along the way. And I mean, you are a doctor, you're a physician. And so it's not like that snake oil thing that you had thought it was, or that so many people say, oh, well, you know, I can get that just by taking my regular supplements. And I love that you're able to speak to that. And so I thank you so very much for doing this with us.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure, completely.
All right. Well, so yeah, absolutely. We'll set up another time, Dr. Rigby. And so if you are interested in learning more about how you can change both your health and your life, you can join us in, I'm sorry, and what?
And others.
And others. You can join us on a Zoom presentation right now. I'm just going to get loaded up, starting in just a couple of minutes. And I believe, Ken, we've got the link inside of the presentation here.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. And so I welcome you to join us in the Zoom. And I also welcome you to join us next week. I can't tell you who the guest is next week.
Secret. It's a secret.
All right. Take it away, Ken.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again for another night. And we will catch you next week. Same time, same place.